Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Jordan here. Today we're going to continue working on the ski slope. There's a whole bunch of things that need to be cleaned up here, like these giant gaps underneath the first down and also the bottom section of the hill. I still need to get the base construction finished. The reason it's taken a little bit longer than I originally anticipated is because of the chairlift. We had a gondola and then I switched it to a chairlift. I really like this here. I think it's going to work perfectly. However, with that said, it also needs to be blended in because right now it looks like it's summertime. There's exposed gray studs, maybe concrete or asphalt or just the base construction of the chairlift, and that needs to be blended in with snow on the bottom there and also on the top of the hill as well. It's just loosely sitting there and that does not look too good. So today I've got to reconstruct the top here, hopefully blend in the chairlifts and get the base construction of this ski slope done. Let's get started. So I wanted to start at the top of the mountain, so that's just what I did. I decided to start with the chairlift. First thing I did was actually switch up the dark gray plates and I swapped them up with white. Sort of makes sense, right? Now it looks like snow. Perfect. I did decide to leave some dark gray around the actual function of the chairlift. Of course, I could swap that up for white, but I'm thinking I can probably blend that in with some snow detailing. I'm still not too sure how the chairs are actually going to flow up and down the mountain. I can't actually get that operational until I'm able to place the Bricklink order, which has the tubing. And the tubing, of course, is going to go over these wheels, around the large wheel at the top, down, under these wheels here on the bottom, around, and then back up. So I'm thinking that this is the right height and there should be enough clearance for the chairs. So I also had to build the platform that the top of the chairlift sits on. And I did this using two of the IKEA boxes. There's like the smallish one right here. This is like the second size, I guess I call it, and also the first size right here. And then I left a hole right there so that I can still access the components underneath the chairlift because I need to access this Technic axle right there. So now I can reach my hand in there and gain access to that Technic axle. You see how I can make it move? Because I'm going to be installing a motor and also a battery box under there. So I need that accessibility and I also need the space for the electrical components. So I also had to build all of this up right here. I know it looks pretty blocky right now and I look like Spider-Man, but that's just how it has to be right now just because I'm not at the detail phase. Eventually that'll all be blended in. But I had to build this up because I actually had to lift the chairlift up 6 bricks, plus there's 3 bricks underneath it. So it's actually 9 bricks. Therefore, I had to increase the slope here. And getting the math of that right actually took quite a bit of time. And then rebuilding all of this just so it blends in the side there. You can see there's a little bit of a gap right there. And you can actually see all of the brickwork underneath here on this side. As I had to rebuild all this, but I made sure that this panel right here is actually removable so that if I need to reinforce this or change up anything or add something under here, I can do that. And why not make this, you know, somewhat modular, right? So now when I remove that, you can see all the brickwork that support all of those bricks right there. So definitely not too bad. It's starting to look quite blended, which is nice. And once again, I'll be able to put slopes all over this place as well, or all over this slope as well, just to make it look less studdy. And this is rather steep right here. I'm just thinking maybe they get off the chairlift and it's steep right away. Yeah, it's a bit sketchy, but like there's not a whole lot of space for me to work with up top here. And I just got to keep in mind that this is Lego and my dogs are barking and it's just the way it is. But yeah, this is Lego and it might not be like 100% realistic. And once again, it's going to be hard for me to visualize until I can actually get that chair operational and see how like the chairs flow around here. Because I want skiers and snowboarders to be able to exit off the chair this way and come down this sort of gradual sloped run, right? A little easier. Or they can get off the chair this way and come down here where it's a little bit more steep. Because I've also been working on blending this in as well. You can see there's like the staircase effect there. We'll get all that sloped up. But then there's a steep right here leading down into the moguls and the start of the terrain park. And then there's a little bit of blockiness happening here as well, which I'll slope off. So I'm thinking maybe they can come down this way and come down this way. At least the all of this section, at least this section is all blended in nicely now, which is good. And also I got these rock panels here. I'll have to add some slope details and make these look pretty. And same with all the rock panels that I added over here as well. But we're getting there. The base construction is coming along quite nicely. And I'm excited about that because, you know, it was looking pretty terrible at the beginning of this video, but now it's actually starting to come together, which is pretty exciting. Before we continue working on that project, I just wanted to let you know about a live stream that I'm going to be hosting on Whatnot. It takes place on Sunday, November 12th, starting at 12 o'clock Mountain Time. During that live stream, I'm going to be giving away 3 Lego sets. The first is the Disney Duos, and then Clone Commander Cody, and also Dobby. In addition to the giveaways, I've got a huge amount of minifigures that I'll be auctioning off during that stream. If you're not a member of Whatnot, you can sign up using my affiliate link. It's in the pinned comment and description below. And when you sign up using that link, you get a free $15 credit, which can be redeemed on the Whatnot platform. I've actually been hosting quite a few streams on Whatnot lately. This is actually just a small selection of the minifigures that I currently have available right now, but it's fun to just sell some figures, and also I've been giving away like a ton of Lego, so it's pretty cool. It's been a good partnership between me and Whatnot. Obviously, when you redeem that credit, it helps out the channel, and I highly appreciate it as well. Something new that I'm trying to do is stock my Buy It Now store on the Whatnot platform. So when you go to those auctions, you can see that there's a Buy It Now tab, and I'm trying to put some sealed sets and stuff in there, and I might have to start selling some of the sets in this room because I'm sort of running out of space. But yeah, I got a ton of minifigures that we'll be auctioning off, and then I've got some other stuff that we'll be giving away, and I also have some more giveaways for my following stream, which is actually 2 weeks later. So there's the November 12th stream, and then there's also one taking place on November 26th. I like to do them on Sunday at 12 o'clock. I just feel like that's a good day. Yeah, so thank you so much. Let's continue building. Originally, I thought I was just going to get the base construction done for the mountain, but then I continued to look at this area, and I was like, oh man, I cannot stand to look at it like that any longer. So I decided to throw a whole bunch of slopes on those blocky bricks that we saw earlier, and then add a little bit of detail with the trees as well. This isn't the final construction. I just wanted to put some trees down just because it was like this white hill. That was it. I needed some color, right? My camera was like struggling with the exposure, so I added some of these saplings. I would love to get some of these stem elements, maybe from the Lego website, in white, so I can top the saplings with a little bit of snow, make them look snow covered. And then I would also like to get different elements and make different trees. These are beautiful. I don't know if they sell them on Bricks and Pieces. I'll definitely have to check it out because those fern elements are just wonderful. They make some amazing looking trees, and I would like to have things like that all over the ski slope as well. And then I'll have to come up with some different designs that sort of resemble like snow-covered bushes, maybe some fallen over trees, etc. So in addition to the details here, I also added some details to the rock work as well. Just some slopes on these panels here, just spruce them up a little bit, right? And then also over here as well. So I added some snow detail and a huge amount of bricks and slopes. Also 1x1 modified plates with the tooth, the cheese slopes, and all sorts of different elements to spruce up those rocks as well. And I really like that because this actually acts as like a backdrop for the ski slope. So when you look at it from this perspective, it sort of gives it a little bit of depth, right? I also started blending in up here as well. I mentioned I was going to do that. I did that with some 2x2 plates and also some corner plates that I found on the pad wall. So it's, you know, a little bit nicer there. And then you also have the downward slope that's built using the bricks, and then of course the 2x plate slope as well. So now that this is looking pretty good, I'm ready to move on to the bottom of the mountain. In order to start working on the bottom of the mountain, I need to factor in a few different things: Mills plates and also that skating rink. I actually tore the skating rink out and deconstructed this Mills plate right here. This guy is devastated. Don't worry, buddy. We're going to reconstruct a new skating rink in the near future. But I want to make sure that I get this done correctly. The next thing I need to worry about is the chairlift. So the chairlift, the base of it actually comes up 4 plates, or 1 brick in 1 plate. So what I'm gonna do is actually embed this in the mills plate. So essentially I need to rip all of this up and get that sunken into the plate, because when skiers and snowboarders come down the hill, they're not gonna be like, oh, I can't get on the chairlift. I want them to glide onto the platform for the chairlift. Just makes sense, right? So I've got to like rip up all of these mills plates here, get that embedded, and when I do embed that, I got to make sure that I get my alignment right, both like vertically, I guess I'll call it, and horizontally as well. This is 16 studs over. Just need to make sure that this is also 16 studs over, and then I need to make sure that it's embedded so that the stud dimension actually works out, because I'm dealing with an angle and the beam, right? So maybe rather than tacking this down, what I'll have to do is carve out its spot, put some tiles down, and jumper it in spots. So if there is anything that needs to be corrected in the future, it's going to be easy to do. Because I don't know how this is going to operate until those pieces arrive from Bricklink. Oh yeah, and also good news everybody, Bricklink is back up and operational. And while I was doing all of this, I submitted my cart for a whole bunch of pieces, which includes minifigures for the Winter Village and also pieces for the chairlift. Oh yeah, pretty awesome. I also did some blending over here as well. So I created this slope down here. So now that's all hidden. This used to be like IKEA boxes. And then I started doing some of the brickwork here as well, blending in this slope. This one's going to be at a slight angle, so it's going to be rather difficult to blend in. But before I get too far ahead of myself locking all of this stuff in with bricks, I need to make sure I get this chairlift embedded. Definitely really happy with the result of that. Embedding it in the mills plate just makes it look so much better. Plus I changed up all the plates to white, other than the ones going around the base of the chairlift. Once again, I think I'll be able to blend that in with some snow detail. It really depends on how those chairs sort of swoop around here. So I won't be able to tell until I actually get it operational, but I can cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah, look at that. I like embedded it right to the plate, and I just adapted it to the plate too, so it's just flush. So I gotta push this down a little bit more. But looking so much better than it did. It did lower the chairs slightly, but there still is enough clearance for the skiers and snowboarders. So now that that's dealt with, it's time to do some blending. Holy cow, that is gonna consume a ton of pieces, but it's gonna look really good when it's done. Speaking of pieces, dragged all these ones over here from my workstation, got them in the IKEA buckets, some drawers, some plastic totes, some bags, bricks, slopes, plates, all that stuff. Yeah, it's not really the most ergonomical work position over here, but it's actually not too bad. So I actually had to reconstruct this mills plate just because I didn't know where the mountain was going to end, and it just made sense to have it all white. It sort of like ends in a staggered format. But I built it mainly with bricks and plates, and then I threw some slopes and stuff on there, and I think the combination looks pretty good. I had to build up the edge here, and it was sort of like flat, so what I decided to do was just snot mount some large curved slopes there, and I think that sort of finishes it off nicely. The train is gonna go buzzing through here, and I think working around the train was one of the things that made this project a little bit more difficult. For example, if there was no train track there, this mountain wouldn't have to be so high. Like in this area, it could start to come down right there, and I could sort of make it swoop around more, but I definitely like the addition of the train. Working these angles was a little bit difficult just because I didn't have the right wedge plates to do it, but I think I sort of made it work with the wedge plates that I do have. So I tried to match the angle that this downhill is at with the wedge plates, sort of stack them together, and then separated them by bricks. And then once that was all constructed, just blent all that in. So right here, this is pretty much all constructed with bricks. So there's a whole bunch of bricks underneath there just supporting it all, and also some of those IKEA boxes. But this was all built up over here, and then all built up around here as well. This down slope right here, and here with all the slopes. Yeah, so that was all built up, and I think that looks fairly decent. So there's what I would call the base construction of the mountain, actually a little bit more than the base construction, because I did add some of that slope detail as well. One thing I could do, and I probably will do, is just go around and throw more slopes in all over the place here. The issue is I'm running low on 2x2 slopes, 2x4 slopes, and also 1x2 slopes, and it's hard to do that if you don't have the correct pieces, right? But I'm also using various plates like the corner plates and the 2x2 plates to try and blend it in as well. What I want to do is just throw some saplings down just to sort of see what this area is going to look like with trees. And I'm sure you can hear my kids screaming in the background right now. Yeah, doesn't sound too happy, but let's add some trees to see if we can spruce this area up yet again. Yeah, the trees definitely help add a nice little pop of color there. I also went through and added a bunch of these. They're the 1x2 cheese slopes in white, and that's just going to help blend in some of those plates as well. And minifigures are really going to bring this thing to life. So I think there's like 30 skiers that I have on order right now. I have like a bunch of legs, so I ordered a bunch of torsos so I can try and build my own minifigures. Also a bunch of helmets and goggles as well, so riders aren't riding like that because that looks a little bit dangerous. I've got to add a whole bunch more details as well. Included in that is the actual like function of the chairlift. For example, we need the unload area, but more importantly, we need the area where minifigures will actually line up and then board the chairlift. So I've got to add those details. And then I also need to add fences going around the perimeter. Still trying to decide how I'm going to add those. If I'm just going to use like the regular lattice fences in yellow or orange. I'm not sure if they make them in orange, but that might be pretty boring. I might try to build a custom fence using snot bricks and tiles. That might be pretty neat. Then I also want to add some custom signage as well. I want to name all of the runs. For example, this one here could be a green circle, which is the easiest run, and it could be called Old Road or something like that. And then maybe over here I could add a black diamond and call it Devil's Brick or Brick Slopes or something, right? So we can come up with run names for each run, and then I can put little signs indicating what run that is and the difficulty of the run. And maybe I can add some like custom snow machines. That might be pretty cool. And who knows what else? You know, maybe some ski patrol and some snowmobiles buzzing around the hill. And then once I actually get the chairlift functional, that will look pretty neat as well. And then down here, maybe the skating rink will go like in this area. Really not too sure, but it'd be cool to add like some ski racks where you can actually put your skis and snowboards when you head inside to go to the chalet. And then just other details that you might find, maybe like some outdoor seating and stuff like that. It sounds like the family needs my assistance. I hope you enjoyed this video. I had a great time today just adding all of these details and finally finished the base construction of the ski slope. Definitely felt pretty good. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff, and take care. Have yourselves a fantastic day.